And if that is the only thing that is important in your buying decision, then that's the product for you.
There are so many decisions to make when shopping for an RV. I'm always trying to find the best sources of wisdom to help educate myself as much as possible. And who better to ask about shopping for an RV than an RV salesman that's been in the high-end motor coach industry for over 35 years. Today we have a special guest. Our guest started out spending over 7 years with a leading Class A RV company and then spent 17 years with the leading bus conversion company and has now been with Newell Coach for over 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the legend, Phil Cornelius.
Hi, Andrew. Thanks for the accolades there, but I'd hardly consider myself a legend.
35 years helping people find the right RVs. You've learned a lot. Now, not only have you been selling RVs for 35 years, but you've put up some pretty big numbers. Do you know about how many RVs you've sold over the last 35 years?
I've kind of tracked that, and it's pushing the 700, somewhere around 700, the high-end Class A motorhomes, bus conversions, and of course Newells.
For somebody that is considering purchasing an RV, is there any advice that you could think of that's your best advice for someone thinking about buying an RV?
Andrew, as you mentioned, there's so many options out there to choose from when you're looking for an RV. The first thing you need to do as a consumer is decide, how am I going to use this RV? What are my objectives there? Obviously, your budget is going to have something to do with it, but that can change as you start to investigate and research. I can't stress enough that you do need to research the market beyond your local dealer, because there's so much product out there. Different companies that have different levels of service and support. If you're interested in just taking a weekend trip to state parks occasionally, and you've got a under $100,000 budget, then probably a Class C motorhome is going to be best for you. If you're at a point, I'm more familiar with the high-end motor coaches. You're investing in a lifestyle. It's not just the product that you're buying. And I view my job as helping people fill a need, not necessarily just selling them a product. As you're looking at different options out there, I would suggest visiting the manufacturing facility. It's extremely important to look underneath all the window dressing, to look underneath all the pretty stuff, because underneath that, the devil's in the details, as they say. And find a representative that is knowledgeable about the product. There's people that are still learning in this industry. Maybe they've been with a company for a short time. Find a representative that's willing to go and get the answers if he doesn't or she doesn't know the answer.
His knowledge of being able to answer those questions very quickly to help us make better decisions and get to a finalization of this process.
David had a lot of good questions to ask, and that's important, that you have somebody that, if they have experience in the industry, to be able to ask the right questions, and then develop that relationship so that you can eventually decide which direction you want to go with whichever company and whichever product. As you're going on this adventure, don't limit yourself to what you think you're going to do with this coach. Most people that buy the product that I sell now already have experience. They already know kind of how they're going to use the coach. So that's not as much of a challenge. But we have a whole new group of people that have come into this market over the last year because of COVID, and they're discovering the lifestyle and loving it. Now, some of them started out at their local dealer and they've already bought 3 coaches because they didn't do a lot of research into what else was out there and available to them, and they had the means to buy what they're now going to end up with after 2 or 3 coaches. Nothing wrong with that approach, other than there's a lot of depreciation that they will incur while they're doing that.
What do you think the biggest mistake you've seen new buyers make in the market?
New buyers will generally not have the opportunity to educate themselves, and we're all new buyers of something. So we've all gone through the process of learning, regardless of what the product is. But they don't necessarily take the time, because this is a fun thing to do, and you go down to your local dealer and you buy whatever they have, and then you start discovering what else is out there as you visit RV resorts like this one or others. You discover that maybe the coach you bought doesn't meet your needs, and so you need to trade up. If you can reduce the number of times that you trade up to get to where you want to be, you're going to be far better off. And you'll avoid some frustrations with products not meeting your expectations.
Rookie buyers make mistakes, but RV owners make mistakes as well. What are some of the mistakes that maybe a veteran RVer might make that you've seen?
Well, it's hard to be too critical because I've made mistakes that I didn't know were mistakes until after I made them. I would say that chasing shiny objects sometimes will cause you to be distracted from the overall product and the overall benefits of a product. A salesman's job is to promote their product and the best features of their product. And in a competitive situation, I have had numerous times where a customer would come back to me and they would dwell on one thing that they were told that another product had. And a couple of examples of the lithium batteries that we've already talked about. Those sound great because it's new, it's supposedly innovation, but that detracts from the things that maybe that product doesn't have, that the consumer might feel is of greater value later. Another example, it's kind of a silly thing, but I can recall not too long ago I had a customer come to me and said, well, brand X over here has taller storage bays, and that's true. Brand X does have taller storage bays, and if that is the only thing that is important in your buying decision, then that's the product for you. While it's true that the storage bays may be taller, they're going to sacrifice storage inside the coach. So if you give up that storage, you're going to end up having to store your pots and pans and liquor bottles and pantry items down below in that storage with those taller bays. If you get a little bit more base storage, you'll have to make some sacrifices somewhere. Usually that's in the interior. You have to make that decision. If not having two separate, large bathrooms or a bath and a half is not important to you and the base storage is, that's great. Again, if somebody chooses that because they have been distracted from all the things they're going to lose for that feature, then they don't discover that sometimes till after they've already made the decision, and then they discover all the things that they lost. And my advice is, look at all the things that you want to have in a coach. Not every coach is going to have everything that you want most of the time, but find the coach that has the best package altogether. And that doesn't just include what's in the product. Look at the company. Look at the company reputation. Look at the company history. Look at the stability, the financial stability of the company. And then look at the kind of service and support. And that's going to require some research, not just listening to someone like me that represents the company, but talking to other customers. And quite frankly, us sales guys like to take credit for what we do, but our customers are our best salespeople sometimes.
We're thinking about the Newell. We've looked at the conversions and looked at the pros and cons, and we really like the features and the way you can change the coach and add additional options and really customize it to what Debbie and I would like, and the fact that it's got a bigger motor than some of the competitors out there, and the quality of the coach. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful.
Debbie, what attracted you to Newell Coach?
I absolutely love the windows. You walk inside, it's just bright, it's airy, the view is just spectacular in there. And like David said, being able to customize it from the cabinets, the floor, the colors, the accessories, it's just really exciting.
I've met a lot of different owners here of different, of all different types of RVs, and they'll really let you know what they like and don't like about their coach. And that was actually one of my first goals of this channel, was just to ask people what they like and what they don't like about their RV. And I think that's an important question. If you are, in these RV resorts and meet the owners, ask them what they like and ask them what they don't like about their RV, and they'll tell you.
Part of the challenge of selecting a coach is actually being able to go in one personally. We live in a time where we're looking at things on the internet or we're looking at catalogs. You really need to go inside the coach and touch it and feel it and take a take a whiff on a hot day. There's a lot of these coaches that have a lot of formaldehyde in the materials. The materials are not near as strong as what you'll find in a Newell. I encourage people to go bang on the walls. Our walls aren't moving; they're riveted in on the top, back, and bottom of the coach. And there's nobody in the industry that does that with aluminum flashing all the way around. And just go in and press up against a wall, and open and close the basement door, or open and close drawers inside. Pull out those pantries and see just how heavy duty they are. Those are the kind of things that you need to check out.
I'll add to that, not only would I recommend doing that, but I would also go look at product that's 10 to 15 years old and see how well it's held up. So even if you're thinking about purchasing a new coach, if you go look at a 10-year-old Newell, say, and then a 10-year-old production coach, and just look at all the corners and the seams and feel at how that product is held up over the 10 years, and that's going to kind of give you an idea about how a new coach is going to hold up.
Yeah, a lot of times it can. You have to be careful. Sometimes we've had some of our own products that we've seen that were abused or neglected, and so they don't look that well. But if you can find, most of our customers are going to take extremely good care of their coaches, and when you go into an older one, we had one come in the resort here that was from the early '80s, and just neat as a pin. You'll see the quality that Newell's known for, and the older coaches as well as the new ones.
Now at Newell Coach, how many units a year are you guys building there?
Right now we're ramping up our production. Looking at 2020, for example, if we go back and say 5 quarters, Newell sold 32 coaches, and that was part of that was during a pandemic and during an election year. And we typically, in an election year, we typically see things kind of slow down. But this time we sold 32 coaches in those 5 quarters. I'm only as good as the company that I work for and the product that I represent. Newell Coach has made my life a lot easier as a sales representative. There is no way, it would not have been possible for me to enjoy that kind of success without the ownership that has had the vision through the years to develop this product and to weather some pretty serious storms throughout the history of this industry. We have leadership that is just awesome. They know how to instill morale. They measure their results and make changes, both not just in the product, but in our processes, so that we have become more efficient. We have an engineering and design team that is just fantastic. You can talk to any customer that's been through our design process. And interiors like this, I couldn't do this. This came from a professional. We have an engineering and design team that's second to none. They're the ones that design the product. And then a manufacturing team, we've got experienced people there that have been there for 30 years plus. They're devoted to the company. And if it wasn't for their commitment to quality, if it wasn't for their commitment to making the team succeed, I couldn't have enjoyed the success that I have. And of course, the service and support, second to none. You can talk to owners in these resorts that have enjoyed the benefit of 24-hour service and support. And finally, the most important reason for my success is the customers that keep coming back. We have customers that bring us more business because they're happy with the product they have, they're happy with the service, and they keep coming back. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be successful.
Phil, I appreciate you sharing some great wisdom with the folks out on YouTube. Anything else that you can think of, any advice that you would have for someone that's thinking about buying either an RV or a Newell Coach?
Treat this as an adventure. This is an investment in a lifestyle that you want to enjoy. Part of the adventure is selecting the right product to help you enjoy the lifestyle. So don't get frustrated when you're looking at all the different coaches, and realize you're going to get confused by what you're hearing, but take your time. Don't be too impulsive. Unless you're buying from me. No. But research it out. And for those that already have the high-end coaches, continue to explore other ways that maybe other products that might fit your lifestyle even better than the coach that you have.
Phil, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to share with me and the folks on YouTube some incredible wisdom. You got 35 years of wisdom. If somebody is a serious buyer and considering purchasing a new or pre-owned Newell Coach, who should they get a hold of?
Yeah, just give me a call at 541-953-3113. You can text that number as well. My email address is philc@newellcoach.com. You can also visit the newellcoach.com website and look at our inventory. If you email me and give me your contact information, I'll go ahead and put you on a mailing list so that you can see where display coaches are throughout the year. And sometimes I'll include inventory that's maybe not available on the website yet, but I can make you aware of products that will be coming in. If you're in the market for a coach, I'd love to be able to show you through the Newell Coach personally. We have coaches on display at different resorts, different locations throughout the year, as well as our factory. In fact, the factory is probably one of the best places to visit.
Phil, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to share that great wisdom with me and the folks on YouTube. A huge thanks to you and the team at Newell Coach. I greatly appreciate all of you out there on YouTube liking these videos and subscribing to the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Hope to see you soon.